My Lords, like the noble Lord Dobbs, I find myself in a rather curious position of greatly regretting elements of the SIs we're debating now, particularly HC 1043, while entirely disagreeing with the noble Lord Green's comments in introducing them. I would, however, say that I would agree with everything the noble Lord Dobbs said, and I'm going to seek not to repeat it, but just to associate myself and the Green Group with them. Now, the situation is, as the noble Lord Bilimoria just indicated, the UK is a nation of immigrants. About 9% of the UK population, 6.2 million people, are immigrants, and should anyone not have been perhaps be on a crackly line remotely, if you can't hear my accent, yes, to be clear in declaration, I am one of them. But it's also worth noting that 5.5 million Britons live in other countries around the globe, about an equal balance. We are a nation of emigrants as well as immigrants. Now, listening to the noble Lords Green, Horam and Hodgson, I really found myself feeling like I was sort of trapped in another age. The world has changed, but we're back in the old ways of thinking, because we know that a significant number of people since COVID, since Brexit, have left the UK. Perhaps 1 million EU citizens, a significant, probably very large number of Britons as well have chosen to leave. And just this morning I spent my time at two sessions, first with the Westminster Forum on Food Security, then with Building Magazine talking about retrofitting our homes. And both of those were industries that are tearing their hair out, saying, where are we going to find the workers? Where are we going to find the skills? Now, I very much agree that we need to train, develop our own workforce, but the numbers simply don't add up, my lords. And we're in a situation, as the UK has been for decades and centuries, of looking around the world for people to come because we need them. And just addressing the noble Lord Hodgson's point about the environmental impact, well, the UK lives a three-planet lifestyle. What we have to do is cut consumption, particularly consumption of the wealthiest. Consumption and inequality are our issues. That's where the environmental action needs to be. So all of those people have been invited to the UK, welcome to the UK, and then they've faced the hostile environment, the dishonest, discriminatory, often chaotic hostile environment. But I want to focus particularly on those likely to be affected by HC 1043, because it is those seeking refuge who are most likely to be affected. I note that the invaluable refugee action briefing for this debate noted that the current backlog of asylum claims, 76% of people are waiting for more than 6 months, and many have been in limbo for years. What does that mean? My lords, I often think back to a young woman who I met in Southampton. She had been forced as a 19-year-old to flee Zimbabwe. She had been persecuted, abused by the security forces in Zimbabwe. She had been in the UK for a decade, waiting to get status in an uncertain immigration situation. And what she said to me was, I feel like I'm in a cage. I'm locked into this tiny cage, and there's a person walking past outside this cage with the key for the cage hanging from their belt. And I'm kind of pretty confident that one day they will pick up that key and open the cage. But I've been a decade, a third of my life, waiting for the cage to be unlocked. And I very much fear, my lords, that HC 1043 is going to bring in the same situation for many, many more people. Because if asylum claims are treated as inadmissible on the basis of the method of arrival, people are going to be left in indefinite limbo. There are not return agreements, and I would say it looks very unlikely there will be return agreements. And then there's case-by-case negotiation, vastly using many resources. Now, I want to address the issue of the government says they want to tackle people trafficking, concerned about this situation. Well, on Monday, I heard some very powerful testimony from young people from the Safe Passage, International Young Leaders Scheme, the Hummingbird Young Leaders Scheme and the Kent Refugee Action Network Youth Forum. And I asked those young people, as you were coming here, as you reached the UK, what sort of decisions did you make? What sort of information did you have? What sort of choices do you have? And they said, well, you know, when you're dashing out the back door, when the police or the army are coming through the front door in fear of your life, you just dash, of course. But all the way along the line, they've had to make calls to just seek safety. And that's what people are doing, and that's what our lack of providing them with safe routes to reach the UK is forcing them into. That is the practical reality. And very briefly, final point, as the Freedom from Torture briefing points out, HC 1043 is in contravention of Article 31 of the Refugee Convention. It's a moral wrong to bring this in, and it's a practical wrong. We're in a world in which the rule of law is under grave threat. Look at Belarus, look at Hungary, look at many other nations. And we need to defend the rule of law, not go back on agreements we've previously made. Thank you, my Lords.